Taino language. Very honored to be here with all of you today. As I say, it's a beautiful day, it's a good day. It's a good day to be indigenous, it's a good day to be among family, and that's how we feel coming up here, that we're amongst family. So I'm also very happy that some of our tribal people are here in this area. They were able to come out. I said, I'm heading up this way. Could you come, maybe be around? And they came out to support. So it's good to see my tribal brothers and sisters here today with us. And I just wanted to just show you this flag because it's about, we're talking about renewal and revitalization and bringing our people together. Back in the late 90s, some of our folks were coming together, the different Taino communities on different islands, and we had thought that what was needed was some kind of a table that we could sit around, come together and speak and just and share our issues and kind of come together on issues of concern. So the idea was to link up like they did in the past through the Confederacy concept. And this Confederacy concept was not just something that was here in the Americas, but it was throughout the Americas, throughout all these lands that we know as North, South, Central America, the Caribbean. These ideas and our peoples in the islands practiced that. There was many communities with many leaders, but at certain points in time, people had to come together. Right? There was issues bigger than one community. So we decided to come together and form what we call the United Confederation of Taino People at the end of the 1990s. And I just wanted to show you this flag that we came together around. Not to say that all Taino people today are connected to this, but this is an ongoing process, right? As we revitalize it, as we come together, is always open to working. The flag here symbolizes our people, no matter what island they come from, reaching out across the waters to the other islands where our relatives might be. Right? So it's us reaching out and connecting as a people, and you can see whatever direction that we're facing, we're reaching out, trying to connect with our relatives across the waters. Right? So at one time, for example, some of us might be from the island of Borrero, or what today is known as Puerto Rico, but then through the colonization of the Caribbean, some of our folks were taken out of homeland, sterilization in the communities, moving people out of farmlands, from fishing areas, and so they had to come to the States. So we went from one island to another one, Manhattan Island, so then working and living there for a certain amount of generations, or wherever we might be. The concept is that we reach out and we reconnect. So that's what this is about. I just want to thank my brothers for being there. For me, you can just take that and we'll just finish it. You want to just introduce yourselves?
My name is Oyate, and I'm very proud to be here today. Thank you for having us. I'm so very happy to see my cacique and my chief here. I don't get to see him a lot, although I see him through the internet a lot, but it's so good to have him in our territory. Thank you.
My name is Roberto. I'm also a member of the tribe, and I live in New Jersey. For now.
So just very quickly, I think that one of the main things that I just wanted to stress is that we hear from many indigenous peoples around the world that we're living in a time of prophecies, right? Prophecies fulfilling themselves, prophecies realizing themselves. And to add to that idea, to that discussion, some folks might not know this, but some of you heard around the time when many of these white buffalo calves were being born here, again recently, in the United States. Well, in one of those, during one of those times when one of those white buffalo calves was born here in the United States, it was right around mid-August time. And there was a celebration going on at the United Nations called the International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples, which takes place annually on August 9th. And we were getting ready for that celebration, and Chief Overlooking Force was going to be there, and other leaders from around Turtle Island, and also from throughout the world were coming to participate in that gathering. But what was really interesting about that particular gathering was that at the same time, just after that white buffalo calf was born, there was a large bull manatee. I don't know if you guys know what a manatee is. A manatee is kind of an aquatic creature. They kind of look like a walrus, but without those long teeth. Well, they're from the southern climes, from the Caribbean. They were like our buffalo for the Taino people. And you find some of them today in Florida. So there was actually a manatee that had came up from the south and was coming up the Hudson River right at the same time as the International Day of the world's indigenous people. So here you have a southern animal coming all the way up north, coming into the river in New York, right before a gathering of indigenous peoples at the United Nations. And so this was very profound for our folks back home, because some years earlier, there had been a baby manatee that came to an area that they hadn't been seen in many years. And what the elders said was that that which once sustained the people was coming back to them. And that didn't mean that we were going to go out and start hunting manatees again, but it was the idea that that traditional knowledge, that connection to these creatures at that time was going to help us and sustain us for what was coming ahead. And the idea that this manatee was coming up this river from down south all the way up north was for us a revelation that our peoples also were coming together, right? That people from the south were coming up to the north. As Mashu was saying, our folks from the north are going across the waters to the Pacific. Some of us are going to other areas, but our peoples are coming together again because we're starting to see that what's been imposed upon us for so long is not helping, right? We're actually disappearing from this, what they've been trying to sell us for at least for the past 500 years, right? And so our peoples are coming together to say, you know what? We had another way, and our communities were thriving. We've taken on, we tried to connect with this other way. We tried the best of our abilities to interact, to show them hospitality, to work with them. You know, they talk about it like this, where in some places they presented them with the coca leaf, which was sacred, and they converted it into cocaine. We presented them with the cacao, which would make chocolate, which sustained the Mayans and the Aztecs, and then they converted it to something else that gives us diabetes, right? So all these gifts that we've been giving have been converted into other things. And so now's the time to say, well, wait a minute, we need to look at what we were really giving them and go back to that instead of using the converted versions, right? So this is the kind of message that I wanted to bring today, that I was very honored to come up here. And you know how it is for all of us. It's not easy to do these things. It's not easy to put yourself out there. I know Hawk knows what I'm talking about. I know you all know what we're talking about. You know, in the midst of all this that's on top of us, that's trying to distract us, or that's trying to just stop us from moving ahead. But you know, there's something bigger than just us, right? And that's what this is all about. So these times are the times that we recharge our batteries, whether we're going into somebody else's homeland or we're just receiving that energy, right, that you bring as a representative of your homeland, right? So we have
my introduction is, I belong to a mountain and a river tribe. The river flows from our Kahuri Mountain, which is our sacred mountain, Ruapehu. It flows through our lands to the ocean, which for us is Taino, the god of the ocean. For us in my region in Aotearoa, New Zealand, we refer to it as I am the river and the river is me. It's our life source and it's our sustenance, it's our mode of travel, it's where we interconnect with other tribes. Our tribal lands, we have about 30 traditional homes coming down our river from the mountain. Out of that 30, we have about 18 that are still active. We use them, we sleep at them, we learn at our marae, and I'll show you that as we go on with our presentation. Me here te reo Māori, I'll just in our language, like to acknowledge council, te miti aroha, te rangatira, ke a koe I say Tanaka from my heart. I would like to acknowledge my family, my sub-tribe, my tribe, and my friends knew I was coming, so they're looking forward to hearing me. And I stand here with them. I stand here with my family, my sub-tribes, and my tribe. To hopefully share some of our culture, let you know what I'm doing, what Mashu and I are doing. We've been on this 4-year journey, and it's been quite amazing. When we look at bringing nations together, that's what we've done in 4 years. Did I say my name? Doreen Bennett, Takarinua. My name is Doreen Bennett. My tribe on my dad's side, my tribes are Te Aroa, Ngāti Tūwharetoa, and Ngāti Haunga Paparangi. Those tribes are on the central to the
Hello, and thank you for having us here to all my relations, my friends, and everybody else that's here. I am Chickamauga and Anigidua, which is the two oldest lands of our Anigidua people, our Cherokee people. And we are of the mountains of the Blue Smoke, which most people know as the Smoky Mountains. And our territory was originally what's now called Northern South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Tennessee, Northern Georgia, Northern Alabama, and Kentucky. Until they put somebody in the White House called Andrew Jackson and forced marched our people over to what's now called Oklahoma. It was then called Taino territory. One out of every 4 of our people died on that move, and this is why we remember that. Doreen had mentioned that we started our project about 4 years ago, and it started out as a cultural exchange between the Maori people and our Anigidua people in Alabama. My particular family units are from Georgia and from Alabama. And I've been going to New Zealand off and on for 30 years and was adopted into a northern tribe of the Maori people called the Mashu. And so I go back there, so you know how we are here on Turtle Island. Our people are extended families, and our relationships are about 2-3 as closer than we say in our language, Yone or Yonega, the white man's. And so their ways are the same way as ours. And our people are a matrilineal people. Everything goes through the women. We have our chiefs, and traditionally we have 7 ceremonies, and 6 of those ceremonies are done for 6 years. And on the 7th year is when the 7th ceremony is done. That's when we traditionally either keep our chief for another 7 years or we bring in a new one. And our women, especially we call our beloved ones and our clan mothers, the chief is acting up, they can take him out just like that. That's how strong our women are. And when a child is born to our clans, it always takes the mother's clan. Because the elders say when a child is born, you may not know who the father is, but you will always know who the mother is. Okay. I'm a retired healthcare professional. I can figure that out. But what we're going to do, the presentation that we're going to do for you here, is part of what's grown out of this cultural exchange. We started doing a decolonization teaching for our all indigenous people. We have to stop looking like white people. is what gets us in trouble. Our way of thinking should be from our cultures, to preserve our cultures. Everything that we do should perpetuate our cultures. And so this is what we're doing. We're trying to write programs that can be used by any tribe. And we're trying to work through elders, through tribal councils, the best that we can. And since we both have reached the point of going international through the UN, something we never thought we'd do, we have seen that this can help tribes all over the world, indigenous people. The one thing that I have learned from going to the UN and working and observing people working on indigenous rights and issues is that no matter where you're from, where your tribe is from in the world, we all have the same history. And it's not any different. So what you're going to see here is a presentation that mostly Doreen's put together, and we've already done, 2 or 3 programs in Aotearoa, which is the real name of New Zealand, through the prisons. Just like here in New Zealand, the largest ethnic population in the prisons are indigenous people. And so, I hope I'm explaining this right. Yeah, go ahead. For the indigenous people to have more confidence on who they are as an individual within their family, their tribe, their clan, and their nation. And hopefully this gives them the strength and the fortitude and lights the flame to start learning more about their traditions, their culture, and their culture. And one thing that most people don't understand is that, yes, we're all indigenous people, and we all come from a tribal background, but every tribe has its own culture, has its own language, has its own way of doing things. And I lecture internationally. I travel the world talking about our Anigadua people. And this is the one thing that I really try to stress. So the presentation that we're going to do here is a slide presentation, and will show the differences. And we have found that sometimes to get people interested in their own culture, they need to see another indigenous culture. Like somebody from the outside that has similar traditions. So we're comparing indigenous Americans with Maori in this. And so after we do this, and I'm going to talk to you about another venture that we're on called Indigenous People's Voice. Okay?
I want to thank Hawthorne. Let me come up here and speak and to be here. What I'm working on is as you probably all know, or seen on Facebook, my passion is about protecting Mother Earth and protecting people, protecting children. That's my passion. I've been working on this for many years, and when I do talk, I talk from the heart. And it's very, it's said, I hurt a lot to see destruction, and to see, our children, just like Hawthorne said, our children, go in another direction. And that's what we have to bring back. Bring the elders back. Me, I was adopted. I grew up in, non-American, white society. Okay. I went back and I learned, and reconnected with my family and who my people were, Dakota. Proud of who I am, and I'm proud to meet other Native Americans. But what I'm working on is a Native American TV program You know, we're going to bring out the awareness on many different topics and issues that's going around. You know, what's going on with the fracking pipeline, the water, and, you know, bringing in the elders, business leaders, you know, people that has a voice, because we need a voice. You know, we need
by the designated representatives of the Schaghticoke Indian Tribe and the United Confederation of Taino people who have agreed to respect these provisions with no term limitations.
Yeah, I'd like you to witness.
Yeah, you can just do a signature. An angel, you come up and you just sign it. You can sign it. You just sign here. Sign this one. Angel sign. Angel sign. Thank you for being part of that very historic, powerful moment. And let's look forward to the next times and the other communities that we can bring together in this way.
Most up. Thank you. So now we're going to have a closing with Donna.